This company is a scam. Do not buy none of their merchandise or products. Scam alert. Don't buy.
Who did more for blacks? Was it Republicans or was it Democrats? Right? Again, I hate politics. I do. Why am I talking about something I don't like? Because it gets brought to my attention. I feel like it's a good topic. I feel like I should share my thoughts on it and then let you all decide for yourself, okay? So, let's get into it. So, we'll start off with the Republicans, right? Okay. In 1850s, they abolished slavery, right? Not Abraham Lincoln. Okay, Abraham Lincoln did not abolish slavery. I want people to really understand that. He was for bringing the Union together. That's what Abraham Lincoln wanted. He was opposed of slavery, and he was against it expanding in the North. Okay. But when it came down to saying, hey man, why don't we just get rid of it? He was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about getting rid of it, but I don't like it. That's what he was on, right? They so the Civil Rights Amendments, they passed the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments, which abolished slavery, granted citizenship to all born in the United States, voting rights regardless of race, right? Then the Civil Rights legislation was passed in 1960, supported the Civil Rights Acts of 1964 and Voting Rights Act of 1965 that ended segregation and voting rights for African Americans, right? So now, Republicans was mostly influential during the Reconstruction era, the early civil rights efforts, early civil rights movements and stuff, right? Now, here's where so basically you got one party that is basically getting rid of slavery, giving African Americans the right to vote, and then ending segregation, right? That's what the Republicans were doing. So what the Democrats did, what they were doing was they came up with the New Deal program, right? Provided economic relief to African Americans, but they were limited because of segregation policies in the 1930s. Well, segregation ended when 1965, I want to say. So yeah, took about 30 years. So they brought that program in, but it excluded black workers. So yeah, it was a good idea. Don't get me wrong, it was a good idea, but there was still segregation going on, which stopped it. So the Republican Party, if they would have came out with that New Deal program, in 1966, then it's they would have had something, but they didn't. Okay, so civil rights movement support. So in the 1960s, they advocated strong for civil rights, and John F. Kennedy, he was huge in passing the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights of 1965. One might say if John F. Kennedy was alive today, he probably would be Republican. All right. Democrats, they came out with affirmative action. It was a policy to address systematic discrimination, improve opportunities for African Americans in education and employment. And then the Democrats was associated with the civil rights, social justice. The Democrats so later on in the years in the 20th century, the Democrats started embracing civil rights for blacks. So when they started to embrace the civil rights, that's when African Americans, the blacks, started going to the Democratic Party. White Southerners didn't like that. They started moving towards the Republican Party. The Republicans started focusing more on big businesses and limiting government, and kind of pushed the blacks, the voters, to the side, especially in the North. They were affected by this. So, That's what kind of happened. So it's like Republicans kind of like leaning away towards helping the blacks. And again, especially in the North where it was a lot of poverty and discrimination. So they were backing off. Not to say like they got rid of them completely, but they were kind of backing off for them a bit. And then the Democrats were like trying to advocate and be like, yeah, equal rights, all that stuff. If I'm saying it right, they were for the civil rights movements. They was for that, and that's why white Southerners didn't too much like that. So they didn't want to be Republican. Now, history serves. The Democratic Party's role, though, back when the Republicans were abolishing slavery and, passing the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments, the Democrats' role in the 1800s were associated with the Southern supported, with the South, who supported, I don't know why I got tongue-tied, y'all, I apologize. The Democratic Party in the 1800s was associated with the South, who supported segregation and disenfranchised the black voters. They were the Confederacy. So Democrats back then, back in the early 1800s, were Confederates and Republicans weren't. So early on, that's why some people would say like blacks were natural Republicans, right? And early on, you had, abolitionists who were trying to abolish slavery. You had presidents and vice presidents who were opposed of it, right? But the Democrat Party back then was for it. Now, when they started, it's almost like, okay, Republicans were like, yeah, man, we don't want slavery. No, let's end that. Let's dead all that. Democrats are like, no, man, let's keep it going. Now they're on. Democrats are like, you know what? Yeah, let's end it. Let's end that. And Republicans are like, yeah, we been did that, but now we're trying to grow a whole business and everything. Oh, the blacks, yeah. We did enough for them. We got them freed. We gave them voting rights. So what else do they want? What else do they need? Like, we need to focus on these corporations and stuff. Like, we did enough for the blacks. And the Democrats are like trying to play catch up. That's kind of what it is. Like, they're trying to play catch up from how I see it. But your thoughts, y'all let me know what y'all